Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review, episode number 5. This one reviewing the 44th episode of Hero Anime, Roaring Upheaval, and the 182nd chapter of the manga, The Culture of Wrestle. This episode is an adaptation of the rest of chapter 79 and 80 and 81. And because the fact got to 81, it's a definite the way it looks because this arc ends with chapter 83. So yes, definitely the next episode will wrap up this arc and start up the next arc, which is the Hideout Raid arc. This episode picks up like right immediately where the last episode left off, where Mezu has Deku on his back, and they're confronted by Dark Shadow, who's basically gone out of control because of Moontooth. Yeah, a guy who can shoot metal out of his teeth, which is very bizarre. And the way this character is, he kind of reminds me, because the whole teeth thing kind of reminds me of one of the Cenobites. Like, what was his name? Chatterer, yeah. He reminds me of the character Chatterer from the Hellraiser movies. Yeah, that's what he reminds me of, though he actually talks instead of just chopping his teeth. Like that. Though that's what he kind of reminds me of. Appearance-wise, he kind of looks like it. Well, except the fact he doesn't use his arms at all. And, of course, he's taken on Bakuto and Endeavor's son. I don't remember the guy's name. Oh, yeah, Shudo. Yeah, Shudo is his name. Yeah, so they're taking Bakuto and Shudo. Yeah, and these guys, and he was taking them out in the last episode. And so Deku decided to come with the ingenious idea to get Dark Shadow to get around him by bringing him along and take on to take on the other guys to protect Bakuto. So he uses Mezu's replicating arms. Of course, his arm had been chopped off in the previous episode. Though, here's the kind of thing, because his arms can be replicated, even despite the fact he gets chopped off, he's perfect. Despite the fact he's bleeding, he still can use his arms. So he uses his arms to deflect off Dark Shadow because of sound, bring it to Moontooth, and then he just defeats Moontooth very easily. And of course, Deku explains to Soto, Dark Shadow, and of course Bakuto, who's basically listening to it. He says the Vanguard is after them for some reason, and so they run off protecting to get back to camp. Instead of like going around in a circle while the Pussycats taking a couple villains, they decide to go shoot straight across. And they run into Akudo and Froppy, who are taking on Hizumi, which don't know what her ability is. She has sex with blood, and she slices Udakara's arm, and she also, takes on Froppy. Of course, Froppy tries to use her tongue. Her tongue gets a little sliced, but not sliced in half, not sliced off, just cut. And then she gets her hair pinned to a tree. Excuse me. And then, of course, Akudo using her training from her internship that she went through to take down her when she had a knife in her hand. Oh, yeah, and then she sniffs her, and apparently she finds out that she has a thing for a guy, though the readers and the viewers know it's Deku, and apparently she has a thing for another guy too, and it's, of all people, Stain the Hero Killer. Yeah, and there's also a lizard guy in the previous episode who was a big fan of his. He even dresses like him too. He has his little thing of obsession with knives. Yeah, though he doesn't drink the blood. Thank God. Because even I think that's still a little gross. Like, slice someone up and then drink their blood? Seriously? That is your quirk? Wow. Very disgusting quirk. At least some of these other guys are interested with like a Dark Shadow go crazy. It's nothing. So eventually, Deku, Mezu, Dark Shadow, and Soto, of course, there's a kid basically Soto was carrying, and they eventually meet up with Odoro and Urikawa and Froppy, and they take out Hizami. You know, she had already also put like a needle thing and stabbed in her leg while she was on top of her. Well, and Zero Gravity goes like, and also we chance to see Grady briefly in the episode, chased by a Nebu. Yeah, Nebu. And this thing basically looked like a true two-shot, like a saw, a drill, and about to take it out, and then it's recalled because, well, Debu is recalling it. Though he's suggested to do that by a guy who can replicate people. I don't know if it's just me. I'm sure some people might have pointed this out already. This guy reminds me a lot of Deadpool. I am not kidding about this. I mean, the mannerisms similar. It seems like he's almost ready to break the fourth wall through his constant talking. I mean, he's kind of like this universe version of Deadpool. I mean, people compare Deku to Spider-Man, so why not compare this villain to Deadpool? Yeah, and of course Dark Shadow and Bakuto get kidnapped, turned into like little marbles by Mr. Compass. That's literally what the guy's name. He wears a mask. He says he's not especially for combat. He's good for entertaining people, but not good for combat. So he runs away. So Deku comes up with the ingenious plan to have himself, Shudo, and Mezu as human bullets. Have, well, Urikawa basically lift off the ground and have Frappa use her tongue to shoot about really hard, really as far as she can. Though, because Urikawa basically is still concerned about Deku, so she tears up her shirt that she's wearing. Look up, she's wearing another shirt underneath, thank God. Not simply going shirtless or basically wearing just simple bra, but she's wearing like a tank top underneath. And she makes, well, tourniquets for both arms of Deku because he's constantly, whenever he uses his quirk, I would say up until the most recent arc, he's like the past couple arcs he's developed a very good control over his quirk, and he doesn't usually break his arms that much. Though during the internship one, he does, from when I remember reading it, he does eventually get special gauntlets to cut down on the pain. So basically cuts on every coil whenever One For All goes for his goes to his arms and damages them. Yeah, he does get it later on from the supply girl in the internship arc. This arc he doesn't get it. Actually, no, it's not during I think it's during Hero License arc. Yeah, I think it's the Hero License arc. 2 arcs now. So he's launched into the air with Soto and Mezu. He takes the Mr. Compass, basically splats him down, and he's like angry. Though Henry basically gets the location first where they're supposed to regather with the Vanguard. And of course, Debu and the replica guy shows up there. And that's when Deku shows up. And that's pretty much when the episode ends. And definitely looks like next episode, this arc will wrap up. And of course, well, move on to the hero. Move on to the hideout arc. Yep. So overall, great episode. Now on to chapter 180. Okay. The coach unleashed. It's a pretty interesting chapter. It's mostly put set at one location the whole entire time, and the girl trying to impress, being her hero. He does eventually show up when it picks up like right where the last chapter lives off. Let's see if it's up yet. No. Yeah, something was wrong. Probably because I was like for a while. Yeah. When it does come. Here we go. Yeah. So, because the fact the thing is full swing, it's like waiting Deku's return. And he's running there with one of the teachers. He gets there just in time. And they're all anxiously waiting for his debut. And Bakuto's like, let's effing go. He's saying they hit the band. Everybody's like in a band making all these moves. Of course, Bakuto using his explosive powers to create explosive interest for Deku. Earplug girl. Yeah, it's just plug it in, get itself more hyped up, and we're still wondering where Deku is. Though something really weird happens. I'm not sure if this is the fault of the website I'm using, but yeah, somebody must have gotten like early sketches of some of these panels, because it seems like that's better. It seems like that this was basically rushed out. Like, some of the panels look unfinished. I have no idea what in the world this is. Yeah, it looked good basically sketches wise, but it looks kind of bad. So everybody just waiting. Everybody's like dancing. Like, almost time for Deku's appearance. Of course, he finally gets on stage. I get the move here. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah. And now we're getting to next gear with the whole thing of him being on stage, and this is pretty much the whole chapter. This whole is, but it's the same problem of it seems like some panels were left unfinished when this was released. I'm not really sure why in the world this was. Some of them look like early sketches, like they were supposed to be there, but not very much completed. All Might briefly appears in this chapter. Yeah, he was. I think he was absent from the last. Yeah, he was absent from the last chapter. Actually, that's not my. It's the guy who could shoot a laser out of his belly button. I thought it was all my mistake. Yeah. Mostly put, yeah, like I said, this whole chapter is about a concert, flashback to basically when they're in class, and that's really it. Yes, singing song, yes, really what this chapter is, a concert. So it's at least interesting. Yes, it's at least, I give it that much. And when everybody gets like when, and of course Deku's on stage, and of course the little girl who like very happy to see him on stage, and of course she's happy that this one kid who met this little girl in several chapters back. It was during a couple chapters where Deku was absent, because that's the weird thing about this arc. It seems like Deku, who has been the main character this whole entire series, and it seems like for this particular arc, it's not focused on him at all. It's focused on one of the other characters, which is interesting. The fact they do that. But yeah, mostly put, this whole chapter just a concert. Yep. I wouldn't be surprised though if a whole episode, if a whole half of an episode, when they get to this particular arc, they pretty much get to it. And this arc is not that in. It's only been going on for roughly, I'd say, 14 chapters. So yeah, the way this arc goes, yeah, the way this arc is, I don't think it's going to last 14 chapters. No. I mean, I don't think this arc is over with. No, I don't think so. It doesn't feel like, it does kind of feel like a finale for an arc, but it doesn't seem like for this arc so far. It's not like, it just seems like a big festival. It's kind of like the sports festival event. This one has been some action, not a heck of a lot of it, but yeah, it's a pretty good chapter and okay arc so far. Mm-hmm. But what do I give this particular chapter? I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. It's a good chapter, a nice change of pace. Hardly, there's like no villains. Yeah, nobody's picking up this concert, but my biggest fault against this chapter is that there is several panels of this chapter that look unfinished. I don't know if this was basically the reasoning for the delay at this particular chapter. Yeah, because this chapter was probably supposed to come out last week, but my guess is because of Golden Week, they decided to get this manga a week off. They did the same thing for One Piece as well, where they gave it a week off. And yeah, this could explain the reasoning for its delay, because there's was like several, at least about 6 panels I saw where they look unfinished. They look like early sketches. Then look complete finished, look polished like that. But I think the reason why they decided to shove it out as it is, because probably this is my personal guess, the writer probably missed a deadline, so they probably shot this particular chapter out so badly. Yeah, it's good writing wise. It's just that the artwork, it's not atrocious. It's just, well, how should I put this? Yeah. It just seems very much unfinished. Yes, that's basically the way it looks for this particular chapter. I mean, writing is the best thing about this chapter and the atmosphere about it. It's just that some of the artwork looks it's not terrible, it just looks unfinished. So, normally I would have give this chapter a 9.5 out of 10 because it's really good, but what knocks the half point off is those unfinished panels. Alright? So, that's it for this particular episode. Stay tuned next week for episode 6. I'll cover episode 45 and hopefully chapter 183. Providing the fact we don't have a delay again, and hopefully the next chapter is not set for the same phase. This one will have habits where several panels look completely unfinished. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen. It happens like around the middle of the chapter that it looks that way. I'm sure some people basically probably point this out though that's probably the way it's supposed to look. But to me, looking at it, it looks like early drafts. But it kind of seems like that this was almost done. It seems like that the writer was almost finished, and then for some reason someone really wanted to get this chapter out right away because it wasn't released last week. That is my personal theory of the reasoning for this. I don't know. Yeah. But one thing I do know about manga, how these manga writers work, is they're supposed to work on 3 chapters a week for a weekly series. Supposed to work on 3 chapters a week, and then of course these come out basically as they are. So this chapter could have come out roughly 3 weeks ago, and this is probably what he came up with. It's my personal theory anyways. But yeah, that's basically it for this episode. I was not expecting to do this one, especially after I did 4 comic corners today. But I figured though, because the newest episode of the anime just came out today, and the newest chapter of manga came out, I think it was yesterday. So I figured though, why not? So at least there's one thing for tomorrow I don't have to worry about. So all I have to worry about tomorrow is just One Piece. Yep, just One Piece. It's the newest chapter of manga, which I'm sure it's already been released, and the newest episode of the anime. So worry about that for tomorrow, which is Mother's Day tomorrow. So expect the review probably be up, I don't know, probably mid to late afternoon, maybe in the evening. That's probably when I expect to put it up. Okay? But as for Vampire Knight, I'm gonna hold off on doing that for a while because I got to a point in the manga where I can basically jump onto the anime for 7 Deadly Sins. So I'm gonna start that anime right now. Okay? So expect to see a review of that probably, I'd say probably tomorrow, because the first season is not very long. It's only 24 episodes, so hopefully it won't take me too long. So expect this review probably tomorrow or Monday. The Holy War arc is only 4 episodes. That'll be part 2. 3 will be the current season. Okay? But until I see you in the next video, bye.